Deathgate is one of 3 games that was sold as a package. The others were Companions of Xanth and Shannara, which we will be getting to in time. But right now we're playing Deathgate, which is based on a book series, the Deathgate Cycle. I am Mors Radis, and with me is...
Rulebook Heavily, hey.
He has read the Deathgate Cycle, I have not.
Of course. Actually, all of the games are based on novels, which is kind of strange, but the Deathgate Cycle is a 7-book series. How do they fit that into one game? We'll find
out. They cut out a lot. But we are going to begin watching. I expect that you've seen the intro video already. If not, you should probably go watch that, because it's actually pretty important, and it's only 5 minutes long.
And also a lot more interesting than what you're about to see, so, you know.
Yes, it is much more animated than what we're going to be watching in now. Or, excuse me a moment, now. So, here we are in Zar's room. This is Zar. He is the guy who helped us out at the beginning of last video. These are our movement controls. We can go in any of the compass directions, up or down, if those are available directions to us, and we can use these verbs to do stuff. And
these are basically
text
adventure things, so... Magic.
And you cast magic with runes. You construct some runes to try to do spells. Not all rune combinations are viable. You have to make the lines connect. And even that doesn't always work.
This rune system, you know, it sort of encourages you to play with it, but at the same time it doesn't actually reward you for doing it.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and they could have done a lot more with it. Right now, Haplo only knows 2 spells. We're Haplo, by the way.
That's heat.
Yep. And if you add this rune, it becomes coal. These are the only 2 spells Haplo has ever needed in his life.
Including within the deadly confines of the labyrinth.
Now, in fairness, these are extremely versatile spells, because they can do massive temperature differentials, but, yeah, these are it.
I mean, what else do you need in life? You need to be cool, and you need to be hot.
And
makes perfect sense to me.
Haplo has those covered. We can ID any spell that we know if we set up the runes and hit identify. It tells us what they do. Beyond that, you really don't need much in this magic system.
Yeah, it's basically a secondary inventory system. Or sort of a verb system of its own. Like, you have look at, you have give, you have heat.
Yeah, it's basically just additional verbs. Lord Zar is the best sorcerer that the patrons, our race, has ever had. He was the first one to get out of the labyrinth, he helped us get out, and he's the only one here that knows what's going on, because Haplo sure does not.
Best sorcerer is relative. Very relative.
Yeah.
Yes, I forgot that you'll need some light for the ship's interior. I'll still have 1 glow lamp left. Feel free to take that one.
Full. And, we just stole one of Zar's light bulbs.
By the way, spoilers, we're gonna get a ship.
Yeah, the light bulb is because he forgot to put one in our ship.
Ah, Haplo. Do you feel well enough to talk, my son? I was worried. You took some serious wounds in your dash for the final gate. It was all I could do to repair your heart rune and heal you. The few weeks since you escaped the labyrinth should have been enough time to recover, but we don't want to rush it. I know you have a lot of questions. I'll do my best to answer them, but first I'd like to give you some history. You've spent your life trying to escape the labyrinth and hating the Sartan who consigned our race there. But you don't really know the full story. Even I didn't know everything when I escaped, but I learned quickly. You see this city around us? The Sartan made this. They made it for us, if you can believe it, for when we emerged from the labyrinth, we were supposed to be docile, rehabilitated, brainwashed. Instead, we hate our Sartan jailers more than ever. There are libraries here, stocked with books. Since my escape, I've been studying them. They tell me much, but not all. There are mysteries I cannot explain, but I will tell you everything I've learned. 2,000 years ago, our patron ancestors warred with the Sartan. We were winning. It was only a matter of time until we defeated the evil sorcerers, took our rightful place as leaders of the world, and freed the other races from their slavery to the Sartan. In desperation, a Sartan named Sama hatched a fiendish plan. He intended to sunder the world into 5 realms. 4 of these realms would be homes to the mensch races, elves, humans, and dwarves. The 5th is here, the labyrinth. It was supposed to serve as a prison for our race. They created a magic artifact called the World Seal. With it, they succeeded in sundering the world. Our ancestors were trapped in the labyrinth, and the rest of the world was broken into the other 4 realms. They planned to lord over the realms and administer the labyrinth as we were rehabilitated. But something happened. They just disappeared, and with them, all of their good intentions. Without the guidance of the Sartan, the labyrinth became a slaughterhouse. Its magic made it aware, intelligent, and it wanted our blood. Life was a living hell for our people. But instead of breaking us as the Sartan wanted, the labyrinth has made us stronger. Many of us have escaped, despite the labyrinth's best efforts. I go back in every day to aid others in their way. I only needed to take you a few hundred feet. You even demanded that you cross the final gate on your own, without any help, before you passed out. You should be proud. Now, my son, I need you. Since my escape, I have been devising a plan to restore our people to our once glorious position. It is our birthright. To this end, you must carry out a very special mission for me. I need you to go into these realms. You'll not only be gathering information, but searching for the seal itself. With it in hand, I plan to reform the world from the broken pieces that the Sartan left us. But here I've been dominating the conversation. You must be very confused. I'm sure you have many questions for me. I'll detail my plan later.
How exactly did the Sartan sunder the world?
The Sartan commanded their dwarven slaves to forge an artifact called the World Seal. It consisted of 5 metal hexagons, each inscribed with a rune, a symbol, which represented one of the 5 realms. They broke the seal apart, and as they did, the world broke apart as well. It was sundered into the 5 realms, and each seal piece went into the realm that it named. As you see above my head, the seal piece that names the Nexus is here.
Tell me about the other realms.
Certainly, my son. The Sartan sundered the world into 5 realms. They based 4 of them on the elements: air, fire, stone, and water. The 5th, of course, is the labyrinth. They are all separated by large distances, too far to travel in a lifetime. That's why the Sartan created the Death Gate. Through it, people can travel from one realm to any other.
Can you tell me about the realm of air?
The books here are rather sketchy about the realms, but of all of them, the world of air, or Arianos as the Sartan named it, is the one I'm most familiar with. It's made up of many separate continents which float in the air. The lower continents are populated by the dwarves. Those islands are plagued with almost continuous electrical storms. The higher continents, with much better weather, are homes to the humans and elves. Perhaps it indicates a pecking order in the mensch. Who knows? The books don't say much more about it, regrettably.
Tell me about the realm of fire.
The realm of fire, or Prian, is a hollow world. Instead of living on the outside of the sphere, as we did on the original world, They live on the inside, along the inner curvature. At the center, 4 powerful suns throw their heat and light upon the ground. I believe it is the largest of the realms, but I know little else about it.
What do you know about the realm of stone?
Abarak, realm of stone, is not much more than a rock hanging in space. It's full of warrens, tunnels, and lava tubes. From the sketchy notes I read about it, it sounds perfectly horrible. Definitely the worst place to live of all the realms.
Can you tell me anything about the realm of water?
Chalestra is the realm of water, and in fact it is a ball of water. At its heart is a sea sun which warms and lights the interior. The exterior is completely frozen, exposed as it is to the cold of space. Sea moons orbit the sea sun. They are hollow, living creatures which draw energy from the sun. Inside, the Sartan built cities to house not only the Mensch, but themselves. I believe that they intended to finally live there to administrate over all of the realms.
Have you learned anything about the labyrinth?
Like I explained, the labyrinth was supposed to rehabilitate our entire race. With the Sartan in control, the test that it administered would have been difficult, even violent, but never fatal. The Sartan disappeared, and somehow the labyrinth became sentient. Its magic took on an intelligence. It started to kill us, slowly but surely. It toyed with us, always gave us just enough hope to keep us fighting. It created environments and monsters that even the twisted Sartan had never dreamed of. But we bested it. We escaped, and more of our kind are escaping all the time. But it is a trickle instead of a flood. Most of our race is still trapped inside. If my plan unfolds as I expect, I will free everyone at the same instant and bring an end to our imprisonment once and for all.
What is this place exactly? It's not the labyrinth.
It's known as the Nexus, kind of a way station. This city is where the Sartan were supposed to watch over the labyrinth. I believe they were going to give it to us as a place to live once we had been rehabilitated. It makes a perfect staging area for my plan.
The Death Gate. What's that?
The Death Gate is a portal. It connects the 5 realms. With a good ship and the right magic, anyone can cross the Death Gate from one realm to any other.
Have you crossed the Death Gate?
No, I haven't been able. I've made preparations, but it's always been my intention to send an emissary, or more appropriately, a scout in my stead. In fact, I was hoping that you would be my eyes in these realms.
What kind of magic is needed to cross the Death Gate?
It's very simple, yet infernally unattainable. The books describe the necessary preparations. You need a ship, one powered by magic with the ability of flight. You need a steering stone, magically treated to guide the ship through the portal. But upon the stone, you also need the naming rune of the target realm. The books state this, but neglect to actually show the runes, as if they were common knowledge. None of the books depict these runes. For years I've been researching the subject, reading every document, poring over every scrap of parchment, and I believe I finally divined one of the runes, that of Arianos, World of Air. It's the only one I've been able to reconstruct, and it's taken years. I don't even know if it's possible to produce the others, given the pitiful research materials I have. It's my thought that the other runes might lie somewhere inside the realm of air. For some time, I've been planning to send someone there to look for them.
Do you have a ship?
Yes, the Sartan were kind enough to leave one for us. It didn't have the steering stone that such a ship requires, but I was able to reproduce one. Without the naming runes of the realms, of course.
Let's go back a step.
Certainly.
Can we talk about something else?
Of course. What do you want to know?
Where did the Sartan disappear to?
I don't know. I don't think their disappearance was planned. All of their documents indicate that they expected to be around for a long time to enjoy the fruits of their labor. It seems that one day they just vanished. I have a few theories. It's possible that they did plan to vanish. They might be hiding somewhere in the realms, using the disappearance as a smokescreen to make us careless. When the time is right, they will return with our deaths in their hands. In any case, I take nothing for granted. I must know where the Sartan went to. I must have vengeance. Our people cry for it. Somewhere in the realms there must be signs, clues. Eventually, we shall discover them, and the trail will lead us to the Sartan. Then we shall destroy them.
What were the Sartan like?
I've pieced together a picture from the books I've found. The Sartan were the opposite of us, even physically. As we have black hair with white ends, the Sartan have white hair with black tips. The runes that we place upon our bodies for protection and to enhance our magic, they shun. I believe that while the Labyrinth has forged us into a harder, stronger race, the Sartan have grown softer in their luxurious realms. They will be no match for us. They will look into our eyes and find the mercy they gave us. The hatred we've kept burning for thousands of years, and their own deaths.
You repaired my heart rune?
Yes. As the Labyrinth continued to attack you, the magic rune tattooed over your heart became weaker and weaker. When I discovered you, it was actually broken. As you know, heart runes must be complete to function. They sustain us, protect us. They are like circles. The magic of your being continually flows through it. If it becomes weak, you cannot cast spells. If it ever becomes broken, you fall ill. Luckily, I found you in time. I was able to draw upon my own life force to lend to you. It repaired your heart rune and made you strong enough to overcome the final hurdle of the Labyrinth.
Tell me about magic.
Certainly. Patrons have magic in their blood. Once we were the greatest sorcerers in the world. If we had learned to work together as the Sartan did, they never would have stood a chance against us. Since then, we have lost much of our skill. We have forgotten many spells because they were useless in the Labyrinth and retained only a very few. We never lost our potential, though. To this day, we can cast any spell as long as we know how it is constructed. But we are pitifully ignorant. One of the things we must do before we confront the Sartan again is to relearn the magic that we have forgotten.
How does magic really work?
Magic is based upon possibilities. The possibility always exists that reality is a certain way. Imagine that a stone wall blocks your path. There is a possibility that a door exists in that wall. A wizard bends this possibility into reality until the door appears. All spells work this way.
How do you cast a spell?
Spells are made up of runes. You build the spell by putting these runes together to form a rune construct. When you have built the construct in your mind, you trace the design in the air. The magic catches fire and leaves a glowing trace behind your finger. Upon completion, the spell casts, and reality is changed.
How do you learn new spells?
The easiest way to learn a new spell is simply to watch someone casting it. All you have to do is mimic the motions, trace the same rune construct in the air, and you are casting that spell. Another method is to see it on paper. Sometimes people prepare books of spells. Other times they include spells to highlight their text. Spells could be found on any document. I've scoured these halls looking for any such books and come up empty. Perhaps the Sartan were careful about the text they left behind, just in case we escaped too soon. Finally, one may discover a spell permanently placed upon an object. When a wizard wishes a spell to be permanent, he can magically prepare an object to receive the spell, then cast that spell upon it. Then the spell is always visible. It engraves itself upon the surface of the object. By studying it, one can learn the spell.
Can you tell me anything about the spells I already know?
I'm afraid that, like most patrons, your repertoire is rather limited. You know only the most basic of spells, heat and cold, normally used to keep yourself alive in the harsh climates that the Labyrinth can produce. They are powerful, but not very versatile.
Do you know any spells that you can teach me?
Yes, I do. There are 2 spells that I intend to teach you. Identify and rune transfer. Both will be very useful in your mission. Identify can supply information about any magic object or spell. If you encounter an unknown object or learn a new spell, but are unsure about its magical properties, simply cast Identify. It will explain everything to you. The second spell, Rune Transfer, is very specific. With it, you can transfer a rune symbol from any object to a magically prepared surface. This will be necessary to place the naming runes of the 4 realms upon the steering stone. After I teach you the spell, I will give you a marker with the naming rune of Arianas upon it. You must take it aboard the ship to the steering stone. There, cast Rune Transfer upon the marker and transfer the rune to the stone. Following that, the ship will be able to take you there, to the realm of air. Regretfully, I do not know the other runes that name the remaining realms. Hopefully in your travels you will discover these other runes. If you do, transfer them onto the steering stone in the same way. The Death Gate will never let you into the other realms if you do not.
Can we talk about something else?
Of course. What do you want to know?
How do you get back into the labyrinth to help our people escape?
The labyrinth doesn't mind letting people in. It's letting them out that it doesn't like. I think the labyrinth has something personal against me. It tries to lure me in as far as possible before it throws everything it has at me. Don't believe that I'm not afraid. Every time I enter, I wonder if I'll ever return. I've been able to get the best of that demon place many times, but every trip it gets more devious, more dangerous.
What is your plan?
The Sartans' plan was unnatural. They killed millions of mensch and consigned our race to a living hell. I intend to undo the damage. I want to reform the world. Much like the Sundering, the Reformation will require all 5 of the seal pieces. I have the Nexus seal piece, but I need the other 4. The Sartan have hidden them somewhere in their realms. You must be my agent. I need you to go into the realms and find those seal pieces and bring them back here. When I have them all, I will reform the world, free our people, and bring the Sartan to justice. Now I know the naming rune for only one of the realms. I will give you a marker with the rune upon it. Use the Rune Transfer spell to place it upon the steering stone on board your ship. The stone will then be able to transport you to Arianas, the realm of air. Since I don't know the runes that name the other 3 realms, I can only hope that you will find them somewhere on Arianas. I also wish to know what happened to the Sartan. Their disappearance mystifies me. Finally, I want you to learn any new spells that you come across. It's only through the infusion of new spells that we will be able to build up our arsenal of magic. So, do you understand your mission? Take your ship to Arianas, search for its seal piece and the other realms' naming runes, and gather any information you can about the missing Sartan and new magic spells. When you have finished, come back here, deliver the seal piece to me, and give me your report. Now I shall teach you the 2 spells you will need. Watch me closely. This is the Rune Transfer spell. Study it. Remember it. This next construct defines the Identify spell. Watch me again. That's all, my son. I am entrusting the fate of our race to you. Do not fail me.
You can sort of tell that this engine is based on a text parser first.
Yeah.
So yeah, here's your spells.
Identify is a very simple spell, which only uses 1 rune, which I honestly think is kind of neat. It seems like it'd be the most basic magic any wizard could cast. The Arianis rune, by the way, is not inherently magical at all. It's just a rock.
Yeah, we're not gonna learn the runes of the worlds. That's never gonna come up.
No, you can't use those to cast spells, I guess.
And there's rune transfer. Now,
rune transfer, as I read it, is even more niche and specific than I thought. You can only transfer runes onto a specially prepared surface.
We'll see how far that goes.
Yeah. As you see, this is a valid line combination, but that one's not, but it's not actually a spell. Doesn't do anything.
And in fact, most combinations are not going to do anything. Don't experiment with them.
Yeah, it feels like you should be experimenting, and it would be really neat if it did, but the game does not reward you.
Also, we went northeast, and hey, gate!
Yeah, this is the gate to the labyrinth, which Haplo will not enter. He does not want to go back there, ever.
Especially with this kind of weather. Damn.
Oh, yeah.
Yes? Was there something else you wished to discuss?
That's enough for right now. I'd like to talk to you later if you don't mind.
Very well. I'll be here.
And we can't steal his book because he's reading. I want to know how the water damaged it, because the Nexus seems pretty dry.
Yeah. Oh, hey,
here's our boat with our hole in the hull, which would be a problem if this boat were intended to go on water, but it's not. This is a space boat.
It's very aerodynamic. In the original series, actually, he doesn't have a ship until after Arianis, because Arianis is where he gets the boat. He just tosses himself through the Death Gate in a gigantic meteor.
That would have been harder to draw, though.
Yeah, obviously.
So, if we did not have our light bulb, the hold would be pitch black and we'd have to go get our light bulb. But since we have one, we can just put it in place, Haplo knows where the light bulb goes, and we can see.
A small mercy, there's not a lot of pixel hunts in this game.
What there is a lot of is kind of obtuse conversations. People in this game are not very smart, Haplo included. We cannot take our light bulb again, though, because it is stuck in its holder. Fortunately, we will never need to take our light bulb again. And as I said, I kind of messed up on rune transfer, because I thought, oh, I should cast this on the steering stone, where I'm going to transfer things to. Well, this turns out
nope.
No. No, we need to cast it on the marker, which we then transfer to the steering stone.
It's not a very complex operation, but it's a little bit unintuitive.
You get a lovely cutscene of the marker getting the rune transferred onto it.
Oh yeah, this they animate.
Oh yeah, they put a lot of effort into some things.
It's basically random.
Yeah. So now we're going to sail our magic boat into the Death Gate, which really is much less dangerous than what we're going to actually fly into on the other side.
The rigging is...
Well, you can't have a boat without a mast.
Oh, yeah. Fair enough.
It's a space boat. All space boats have masts.
So the Death Gate is a portal in space.
Yeah. Dying never really gets involved with the Death Gate. And we're not going to get to see the storm that we just kind of flew into. But rest assured, there is a storm, and it is forcing Haplo to make an emergency landing on the lowest, shittiest part of Arianis.
Yeah. I'm not gonna dispute any of that.
We will see more of Arianis next time, but we just spent 20 minutes talking to Czar, and I think that that's good for an update.
Oh, that's cool. It's a good one.
Yep. Thank you for joining us. That was episode 1 of Death Gate.
And I hope you didn't watch all of that.
Yeah, some people might be interested in what Czar had to say. It's possible.
It's technically important.
So, if you did watch through all of that, thank you. If you didn't, you aren't watching this now.